Yep. We getting ready to in a minute. Absolutely, more. Yep. We getting ready to jump right into this. Give me 1 second. And remember, Morris, if you like the teachings, don't be bashful. It's okay to give a charitable contribution to Cash App $KGBay, a $5 or a $10 donation. Just like if we would go to the movies, or if you came to my temple, or you came to a lecture. There's nothing wrong with giving a charitable contribution if you're getting something that you say you love. There's nothing wrong with this, Morris. And I give you literature. So let's do our due diligence. A workman is due his hire. I'm working, of course, right? Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm just giving everybody a second to log in, Morris. Giving everybody a nice second to log in. We're going to teach this science tonight. Tonight. If you like the teachings, like I said, no disrespect to no one, but a workman is due his hire. If you like the teachings, please don't hesitate to give a charitable contribution of your choice to Cash App $KGBay. If you give a $10 donation, all you got to do is hit me up on my Gmail, Goodman, KHARY @gmail.com. If you give a $10 donation, I'm going to give you a piece of literature. It's that simple. It's that simple, Morris. If you're getting fed, I always tell Morris, it's nothing wrong with giving a charitable contribution to something that you like. We do it any other time. So share this. This is going to be illuminating. I promise y'all, man. It's going to be illuminating teaching. I teach in real life, and I get paid to teach. So when I come back to my people, I try to give gratitude to my fellow brothers and sisters that come back and teach what I teach the world for small donations. So with that being said, let's give it a couple more minutes and we'll get started. Yeah, that's why I'm having everybody come private, Noble, to come on Zoom, and then we're going to be done asking that, because I don't like asking people, but, you know, I try to come to the people. Gratitude, more. Gratitude. Yep. My Noble said, he said, post it on there. I don't like to post it. It's Cash App $KGBay. If any more is like to give a charitable contribution to the teaching, Islam. If not, I'm glad you're here getting fed. I hope that Allah place it on your heart when you can give a charitable contribution to the teachings. I hope you do. I hope you do put it on your heart as you courting us, seeing what we're talking about, seeing what we're displaying. I hope Allah place it on your heart to join us privately on Zoom. Excuse me. Excuse me. And I hope Allah place it on your heart to support what you like and get your literature from us. mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z. Get your turban, your fezzes, everything from morrishaberdasher.com. bbtsciencetemple.com is where you can inquire about all our Moorish American teachings. Excuse me. And if you can't join us live for Sunday school on Sunday and adapt lessons on Saturday, then you will be able to go right on our Temple and School page and give a small charitable contribution to view the lecture. It's nothing wrong with that if we are paid to go to the movies and go to clubs and we say we Moors. I really don't feel there's nothing wrong with that. Because I dedicate and I put my money where my mouth is, and I put my money into what I love. And this science is what I'm about. And I'm a teacher in real life, an educator, a professor. I teach business, a youth counselor. I'm certified in training, Alcohol Anonymous, drug counseling, all these things. I've been to so many prisons. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I used to go to the Thumb Correctional Facility when no preachers or nothing wanted to go talk to the brothers. That's why I'm able to go in all places. It's not just the internet with me, Morris. When you a sheik and you an adapt, you go to all places. You touch all hearts. This ain't no Crips and Bloods. If you a true adapt and then people know who they are, you coming as a sheik. So you coming to connect people. That's what I do. No matter what cloth you under. This is not Crips and Bloods. The so-called 5-point star, the so-called 6-point star belong to the Moors. Why you think the Masons and the gangbanger symbols is a lot of the same? Oh, thanks for the donation. Cash App $ KG Bay. I'm just highlighting before I get started, man. I just went and talked to a group of nobles. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I just sat and talked to 15 nobles. Had me at Barnes and Nobles. I had to leave. I'm like, nobles, I gotta leave. Because I correct teachings from it got to be from love. I don't care if you have a fez on, what you promulgating. If you're not promulgating truth, and if you say you a sheik and you teaching the teachings from the temple, you got to come see me. If not, you know you own some BS, and you know you operating on your own understanding, and that's a fact. That's a fact. There's no hate. There's no separation. It's only one prophet. It's only one temple. It's only one truth. We got to stop all that mad. Like I tell people, you got to stop believing in men and deal with the science. It never was a time when man was not. So I deal with the science, no matter what the you is. Understand this, because wisdom and science is universal. We're talking about universal laws. We got to understand this. Everybody else is debating. I don't debate. I never debate no one that should be a student. I never debate my brother and sister. Never in life. I have no passion or no desire to debate no one. I'm happy who I am. I'm happy in my lane, teaching real people, helping single moms, helping seniors, helping kids. That's how can I say that people think they're not intelligent and take them from average students to be extraordinary or extraordinary, excuse me. Teaching them the elements, showing them. That's what my skill is. And we build. And the group of Moors that's under the auspices of Allah and that Allah put me in the flesh to lead, we're doing real things. We have land. We have a real school. We have a real temple. Lamarck Bay, Lamarck he ain't send you an email? Well, hit me back, man. I'll make sure he do. He might be on here. I know one of my nobles, we on YouTube as well. So I know one of my nobles is on YouTube. If you jump on YouTube as well, KHARYIBENAHAKIM, Goodman Bay. My noble's on there too, because we live on YouTube. And if he didn't get with you, man, apologies. We just been real busy, man. You know, we preparing to go get our land fenced out. So apologies for that if he didn't get with you. But yeah, get your pencils and your papers, man. Yep. Y'all can sit right there, Noble. So before I get into this teaching, man, I want to give all praises and all honor, gratitude, Phoenix, for the honor and the praise. I give gratitude to everyone. I give love to everyone. Gratitude, and thanks everyone for giving a donation, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's $1. If you give $1, I'm still going to give you one of the books I divinely prepared and gathered. It's entitled Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. If you give $5, whatever you want to give, I'm gonna give you literature because I wrote the literature and made it in a compilation to share it with the world. Because there's nothing secret with me. The only person that's going to keep a secret from you is a person that don't want you to know the truth. And the man and the woman don't know by being told. They know by studying and researching and coming together. And when two or more gather, there the truth is. I'm not here to try to convert anyone. I'm here to resurrect us. I'm here to teach history and law, civics, which is universal. Adapt, a scholar, a sheik is that in all facets of life, not just in one paradigm, not just in no so-called conscious community, in real life. In real life, Moors. Understand this. Who cares about if a person don't like Noble Drew Ali, if a person don't like that? I don't care about all that. I know about divine truth. I know about laws. I know about history. And that's one thing you cannot deny. And everybody try to diss Noble Drew Ali or say this and that. And everybody know when you're dealing with law and civics, when you're dealing with nationality, when you're dealing with true things in law and understanding who you are, you cannot be playing with that black stuff because that's elementary etymology. Black, according to science and law, is deaf. Black has no meaning in law. Black is an adjective, just like in Spanish, negrito beings, black beings. Just like in the 1599 Geneva Bible, it called you a blackamoor. You're not a black of black. The black was describing that hue of more that they seen in that particular geographical area. And that's a fact. I don't know why people diss things or why people like to feel a certain way. Let's deal with first century writers. Let's deal with J.A. Rogers. Let's deal with a lot of the European writers. Let's deal with a lot of things that we do on scholarship when I say nothing is hidden, how we destroyed that Eurocentric and that Negrocentric propaganda. When everybody in law know that you Moors. In 2012, damn near so many states signed the proclamation. Understand that you Moors. When we talk about the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. When we talk about the Resolution 75. When we talk about the SF 181 form. When we talk about the indigenous rights of the religious rights of the indigenous people. I'm not making nothing up. We are here to defend the Constitution. We're not outside of the parameters of the law. And if you operate as a true sheik and a scholar and an educator to liberate people or to resurrect, you teach the laws, which is the Constitution. We're not here to overthrow a damn thing. And if you think that, you a liar and a fool. Ain't no truth in you. Moorish science is no man-made religion saying, oh, you got to believe in this. And the only thing I read is the Moorish Quran. The Moorish Quran is a compilation of books. We're going to get into that. See, you deal with a lot of brothers that's not initiated. So the first thing they want to do is come from the lower self. Lower self is anger. Lower self is an ideology or a religious dogmatic propaganda. I'm not rocking with that. I just told you, a scholar, a sheik, and an educator can go in any house and teach and liberate. Why? Because that prophet or that divine vessel can use the holy book that those use, and I can speak their voice. Everybody know I'm telling the truth. When I speak the Kabbalah, when I speak the Zohar, when I speak Gematria, when I Kabbalistically speak, I speak truth. And if you don't understand that, that means you are at how can I say it, a lower level of understanding, and you should want to be illuminated from your brother. You should want that aha moment. You should want that light bulb moment that flickers on. Everything else is propaganda. We dealing with things that can be proven. Come on, man. We're dealing with scholarship. We're not dealing with a dogmatic system, Morris. We're dealing with science. We never gravitate to one science where we miss the essence of the rest. When I teach the basics, when I get into the third chamber, I teach you the triple rule of the adapt chamber, the monotheistic thought processes. I teach you the things that we can understand where we don't diss nothing. I teach you the paraclete, the fatimid, the Jerusalem, the Christian thing, to get a clear understanding of all the sciences. We study all the holy books. What holy books? All of them. For you can get a clear understanding. Because the pendulum with me swings the same way to the left as it does to the right when we speak in science. You're not going to get me with no type of religious propaganda. From no perspective, from no disrespect to no one, no Al-Islam, no Christianity, no Egyptology this. I'm not falling for none of that outside belief system. I'm making that clear before I speak. So when you see me and when you see a sheik, I'm not under no religious creed. So if anybody tell you that, they mad at something else. And more science is not a religious creed. So let's jump into the science. Let me do my Moorish American prayer. Thank for the donation, Moor. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my guide, my protector, my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Ali, Shalom Alaikum, Ayah Asha'ayah, peace, 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 Assalamu Alaikum. Whatever name you give it praise, so be it, man. I ain't tripping, because the truth is the truth, and a lie is a lie. And if I'm coming in a different language, I'm coming out of linguistic. I got to come in the voice of the people. That's a prophet and an angel. You got to stop letting people set trip. You got to stop letting people do that. Let them be mad and be angry. Let them be mad and be angry. So before I even get into the whole teaching, because I hope you get your pencils on your papers, I want to clear up some things. I want to clear up just a lot of sayings, because that's what we're supposed to do. We can be stand corrected with the truth. That's what we must do. So Prophet Noble Ali did not plagiarize the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I quote that. Let's deal with the science. And this be from our own people. But then a European to give our prophet and the science all the credit. And we'll let other people connotate it and twist it up and don't understand the essence and the root of the science. There are many accusations by people in various groups claiming that Prophet Noble Ali plagiarized the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, published in 1927. It is extremely important that we be clear in the language we use when making accusations, because you may intentionally or unintentionally commit acts of libel or defamation of character. Just as it is a crime to steal someone's work or ideas and claim it's yours, is also a crime to slander someone's reputation. So let me stop right there. When our Prophet Noble Ali said, when he gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared, when you see all my writings, when it says, I gathered, prepared, all that, divinely prepared, we giving credit to the thought. Just like when I got my degrees, when I tell people, if you're a scholar, you must write in particular format. And in academia and master level writing, you write an APA format. You do annotated bibliographies. And for me, with my connections as being adapt, I was connected to Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford. My affiliations with the Philosophical Research Society, I was able to do advanced research. You must give credit to the original thought. That's why I tell people there never was a time when man was not. Why would we diss wisdom? Why? That's asinine. Plagiarism. Let's be clear. Plagiarism, the practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as someone else's. And passing it off as one's own. So a noble sent me something one day, and he was like, Sheik, I don't like to pick. And I said, I knew he was going there because I sent him something from the Library of Congress. And he was like, this zodiac laws don't have this person name on the front. And he was like, and then I see people passing stuff over on this publication with a stamp on it says the introduction to something by this so-called sheik. I said, hey man. He was like, what is that? I said, go to the Library of Congress, see if that man name on it. If that man name on it, no, see when the date was on that and when that was authored and when it was done. I ain't got nothing to say. That's what I be telling people. I don't know why people be going in and try to trick people or whatever they be doing. It's no reason to try to put your name on something. If it's science and if it's a lot, you can gather, compile it, and divinely prepare it to make it easier for people. But you can't put your stamp on something and say, come on, man. But anyway. The Free Dictionary by Firelex's legal section states, plagiarism, the act of appropriating the literary composition of another author or excerpts, ideas, or passages therefrom, and passing the material off as one's own creation. Our prophet never said it was his. He said he gathered, divinely prepared it. Come on, man. Plagiarism is the theft of another person's writing or ideas. Generally, it occurs when someone else steals expressions from another author's composition and makes them appear to be his own work. Plagiarism is not a legal term. Listen, however, it is often used in lawsuits. Courts recognize acts of plagiarism as violations of copyright laws. Copyright laws. So like when people use the Nike sign and put "do more," that's a violation of copyright law. Oh, well, you can be mad at me. I don't give a damn. Specifically as the theft of another person's intellectual property, because copyright laws allows a variety of creative works to be registered as the property of their owners. Lawsuits alleging plagiarism can be based on appropriation of any form of writing, music, and visual images. Defamation, a verb, the action of damaging the good reputation of someone, slander or libel, especially when you're a business like myself and others. Libel, a published false statement that is damaging to a person's reputation, a written defamation. The Free Dictionary by Firelex legal section states, defamation, verb, any intentional false communication, either written or spoken, that harms a person's reputation, decreases their respect, regard, or confidence in which a person is held, or induces despairing, hostile, or disagreeable opinions or feelings against a person. Defamation may be a criminal or civil charge. It encompasses both written statements known as libel, and spoken statements called slander. Slander, oral defamation or defamation, in which someone tells one or more persons an untrue about another, which untruth will harm the reputation of the persons defamed. Slander is a civil wrong, aka a tort, and can be the basis for a lawsuit. Damages, payoff for worth for slander may be limited to actual special damages, Morris, unless it's malicious intent, since such damages are unusually difficult to specify and harder to prove. Some statements, such as untrue accusations of having committed a crime, having a loathsome disease, or being unable to perform one's occupation, are treated as slander per se, since the harm and malice are obvious, and therefore usually results in general and even punitive damages recovery by persons harmed. Words spoken over the air on television or radio are treated as libel, written defamation, and not slander, on the theory that broadcasting reaches a large audience as much, if not more, than printed publications. So let's continue. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, 1927. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple, 1928. Prophet Noble Ali published the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1927. However, he never claimed to have wrote the Holy Quran, nor has he ever claimed it to be of his own ideas. Noble Ali actually claimed the opposite, Morris. Noble Ali stated, and I quote, on the cover of the Holy Quran, that it was divinely prepared. The word divine means of or from God, and prepared means to make something. When your mom says she prepared the meal or say she prepared some chicken, she said she got it, she prepared it, and she divinely prepared it because she made it with love. ready for use or consideration or consumption. Due to the name correction in 1928, there are two versions of the Holy Quran. One reads the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, as the other reads the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Both of these pamphlets are from the same organization founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The same misspellings in both. If you are studying a philosopher, you won't get caught up in nobody bull crap, and nobody semantics, and no garbage. We on something bigger and better. I promise you this. And everybody that understands the sound of my voice know exactly what I'm saying as well. You know? Levi Downey's, I forgot to grab that. Aquarian Gospels of Jesus Christ, published December 1st, 1908. He said, and I quote, I transcribed. Listen clearly to the words that are coming out of my mouth. See, when you're dealing with scholarship, when you're dealing with etymology, when you're dealing with research, when you understand language, and when you remove all the hate and all the madness, you deal with truth, and the truth will make you free. Understand that. He said, I transcribed the text of the book, Aquarian Gospels, right? From the Akashic records. This is one of the Akashic records. I got another one, Akashic records. I'm telling you, man, we're gonna correct the teachings. Morris and all them people that's talking that crazy stuff, they need to have a seat. I don't diss wisdom. I told you, you're dealing with an elite, initiated, and your brother that's on both sides. This is what we're supposed to be. A purported, like a compilation or a appendium of mystical knowledge encoded in a non-physical plane of existence. And therefore, Mr. Levi Downey, too, has claimed the information in his book was not of his own. Sir Ramatheos, when people be liking to diss stuff, and because you know they ain't read, they like to diss. Unto thee I grant, when I talk about monotheism, when I talk about science, published in 1925, Sir Ramatherio, as well as the Rosicrucian Order, the AMORC, stated out of the mysteries of the past comes this unique book, Unto thee I grant. And to thee I grant, that was written 2,000 years ago, but was hidden in manuscript form from the eyes of the world, and given only to the initiates of the temples in Tibet to study privately. And therefore, Mr. Suri Ramatherio, too, has claimed the information in his book was not of his own. Come on, man. We got to stop dealing with these people bull crapping. And I ain't even jumped into the real science, what we're going to get into, Alicia's Levi, the Baphomet. This is nothing scary. Just like when I show y'all C. Freeman L chart. Come on, man. Everybody should be saying Islam, man. Everybody should be on here Islam. We correcting the teachings. Everybody should be liking and sharing this. We illuminating the religious dogma. This is science. This is school. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Come on, man. Come on, man. We ain't even scratched the surface. We ain't even went to the third heaven. Divinely prepared, 1927, within the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple. Prophet Noble Drew Ali says exactly where he received the teachings within the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Pages 3, it reads, and I quote, somebody correct me if I'm tripping. Page 3, get your Qurans out. Oh, they ain't read it. And then you have people talking about, oh, they prayed into some Arab man. Man, I have no time to play no games. I deal with wisdom. I ain't down with that crap, man. You can deal with all that colorism you want to. The reason the lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. Didn't it just sound like what I just read in the Unto Thee I Grant? And I ain't even jumped in the Brahmin text. Yet, y'all. And so if anybody understanding, if a true adapt, a true scholar understand exactly what I'm saying, the lessons of the pamphlet are not for sale, but for sake of humanity, as I am a prophet, and the servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive the pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened these keys and freed the secrets. And for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America, all authority and rights of publishing, Morris, of this pamphlet of 1927. Prophet Noble Ali is referring that these teachings are an ancient teachings in which he does not take credit for. Neither do I. No way, Morris, how could I graduated from academia and don't know how to write in a scholarly perspective and graduated with honors from 3 universities? Continue my Jewish doctorate degree if I didn't know how to write and give credit and show who I am in writings. These is facts. And neither did Mr. Levi Donnelly or Mr. Sir Ramatherio, with much respect. In addition, according to the legal definition, the denotative definition, the etymological definition of plagiarism, as well as the words of the authors of said sources, Prophet Noble Ali did not plagiarize the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And according to the Rosicrucian website, Mr. Sir Ramatherio is not the originator of the information provided in the book titled Unto Thee I Grant. I'm telling you, man, nobody, man, this is check. This is check. And we ain't even got deep with it. Thanks for the donation. Yep, it's Cash App $KG Bay. Gratitude. Out of the mystery of the past come this antique book that was written 2,000 years ago, but was hidden in the manuscript form from the eyes of the world and given only to the initiates of the temple in Tibet to study privately. According to the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ, Mr. Levi Donnelly states that he meditated in the quietest hour, 3 a.m., to then receive access to the Akashic records in which he transcribed the lessons he received. Mr. Levi H. Donnelly, according to his book, he was merely a transcriber and was known to his followers as a transcriber. Just like we are destroying that Anunnaki by Zachariah Stitchens that you hear these brothers talk about, they some Egyptologists and they use that Freemasonry trash. And I show you that, man, that's the Iberian, that's the Canaanite, proven all over. Everybody know this. All scholars know this, but us. We let somebody tell us it's some goofy aliens, and then we fall for that stuff. I'm like, man, stop playing with me. Quran questionnaire for Moorish Americans. Question 17. What is our religion? Islamism. 18. Is that a new religion? Or is that an old-time religion? Old-time religion. In the promotion of plans for the betterment of mankind, there has ever been some kind of opposition. And strange as it may seem, such opposition has come from sources where there were no ideas or the lack of courage to force attention to ideas, whether in church, state, or social community. Any attempt to do anything out of the usual way seldom fails to receive criticism, not because the course cannot be pursued legally or that it is unreasonable, but because it has been considered in terms as new. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, has received some opposition and criticism. In the main, that the opposition has come from certain Christian ministers. They have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of Mohammedan religion, possibly because the promotion, of misunderstanding is promulgated Moors. But as we close with that little piece of science, when we talk about the work, the infinite wisdom is published as Unto Thee I Grant. So when you look up the infinite wisdom, it's published as Unto Thee I Grant. And the readings in the Holy Quran that diverge from the Unto Thee I Grant. Yep. Absolutely. Man, now you got to understand, man, about it never was a time when man was not. And we dealing with science. I'm not here to debate no one. But as we deal with teachers, man, a person can believe and understand what they want. But as we deal with science, science is universal and science is old. We're talking about words that's synonyms. We don't have to say the same word. I'm correcting teachings. So let's be clear with what we're talking about and what we're doing. Because it just say gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. Gathered, compile, and divinely prepare. Let's not get caught up in what we feel. We're not dissing anything. I'm from the temple. Understand, gather, compile, and divinely prepare. That means something. Understand that. Just like the Brahmin text. If a person read the Brahmin text, you would see the same teachings. In the first instance, enough of evil is allotted unto man, but he make it more while he laminated it. It is left out of chapter 44, verse 10. In verse 19 of the same chapter, who remembered himself in joy becomes who remembered themselves as a boy. Here is one more instance where our prophet Noble Ali changes or improves the original. Chapters 19 to 44 of our Holy Quran are found in pages 19 to 63 of the Unto Thee I Grant and pages 27 to 102 of the Infinite Wisdom. That's what I'm saying. All we got to do is deal with the science. All we got to do is research the science and deal with and get historically and remove the veil. I'm not here to diss nothing. I'm telling you, the science and the wisdom is older than anything. And we give credit to all the prophets in the flesh. I give credit. I give credit to the thought. I give credit to that. I give credit to our prophet Noble Ali. I give credit to Sheikh Anna Diop. I give credit to one of my teachers, Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley, how I show you all the charts that man made in the image of Elohim. I give honors and profit to Clarence X. I give honors and profit to the so-called misnomer, the Black Hitler of Harlem. I give credit to Sheikh Anna Diop. Come on, man. I give credit to Abdul Hamid Solomon. I give credit to Dr. Deuce Muhammad Ali. Come on, man. That's what I'm here to do. It just said gather, compile, and divinely prepare. That means something. So as we jump into the science, as we close, when we study things, and I say I'm not here just to look at books or just to quote books. This life should be lived, and you should be, and a true teacher, a general, anything. You teach and you lead. An educator, a scholar is that in real life. I'm not here to debate no one. I'm here to illuminate. I'm not here for no religious dogma. I don't pray to no man. I give credit to our prophet Noble Ali. I give credit to our prophet Noble Ali. But I don't praise any man. So we get that clear. So when we talk about this Baphomet, just like when I break down C. Freeman L's chart, I want people to look at things. Because if you're a scholar, you should understand signs and symbols, and you should understand this is nothing ugly, this is nothing scary, this is nothing evil. If you promulgate that, then it's no truth. So let's deal with a little bit of that, and we're done. So when people talk about the Baphomet, the terrible so-called Baphomet is in fact like all monstrous enigmas of ancient science, nothing more than an innocent and even pious hieroglyph. I hope Moors understand that. I'll break that down with the Beauty and the Beast, all that. When I break things down so synonymous, when I break another science down to movies, to Alice in Wonderland, and show you things in adapt wisdom. But just to be clear on things, we must understand all levels of science. We can't let people and get caught up in feelings. I'm not here to get caught up in feelings. I'm a scientist. I can show you where a lot of things that was written in the Quran you can find in all other teachings. If you're a scholar, you give credit to the teachings, especially if a person haven't read the Brahmin text, especially if a person haven't read the Gautama Buddha that sits on the 7 serpents. It's no hate, it's no slander. I'm talking about wisdom. And then if we had a lot of the books that go with the Quran, because there's plenty of books that go with the Quran, the Quranic Study Guide, the Discover Key Questionnaires, the Catechism that go with the Quran, the SO Workbook, the Silent Brotherhood of the East. If we had those, a person would clearly be like, I understand, and I'm here to learn. Clearly. And clearly it says to gather, compile, and divinely prepare. So if we understand that, we dealing with things that can be proven, Moors. We're not here to argue and debate. The mysterious origins of the legend Baphomet have been speculated upon by so-called historians and researchers for many hundreds of years. There have been many erroneous claims that have been made, such as the Baphomet represents Satan or evil, just like you get religious people and talk about Lucifer. Well, Lucifer is the morning star. If you study scriptures, yeah, I said it, but I know most people don't study, which is simple, not true. And what I'm trying to do is show you the facts. I spoke about this on my YouTube page plenty times ago, how I illuminate things. We illuminate the truth behind who is this horn God, what it truly represents. When I spoke about the Baphomet and the meaning and the essence of the Baphomet plenty times with my students and on a college university in all type of houses, when I say, man, when I used to do my oral lectures, when I was getting my dual a master's degree from Grand Canyon University, I never had a person say nothing. And and at my lectures was professors and students from all other parts of life, and they sat down and they listened. That's why when I tell us, I'll be like, where'd the ego coming from? We should be here to learn. We should have our pencils out learning, because I'm not here to teach religious dogma. I'm a Moor. That's the pedigree. The science is masonry. If you don't understand that, then you must understand. Then how are you going to talk about what our Moorish Quran say in chapter 5 about our workman tools and how to use them? And the European Mason is a son of a Muslim. The Negro Mason is the son of a Muslim. And we talk about Haram Abif of Tyre, who built Solomon's temple. I mean, come on, man. We can't be out here playing around. So in previous lectures, I detailed the name Baphomet. It's derived from the phrase. It's from the phrase Moors, TEMOHPAB, Tim Hope Ab, Temple, Omnium, Homnium, Pads, Abba. Islam, that's Latin. Temp, Hope, Ab. TEMOHPAB. Temple, Omnium, Homnium, Pads, Abba, which is simply Latin for Father of the Temple. Universal peace of men. Temp Hop or Temp Hop, Ab, spelled backwards, is where we get the word what? Baphomet. Come on, man. Come on, talk to me. We're going to remove all the fail of this scary stuff when people talk about some scary, some European, some, how can we say, Alex Crowley. Man, Alex Crowley ain't shit. Nah, I said it. And if Alex Crowley right here, they just connotated the science and made it spooky. That 777 magic, I'll show you and transcribe that, and that ain't nothing. Change his name to Serapis Bey. Just like Peter Lambert Wilson that wrote The Sacred Drift with our prophet on it, he changed his name to Hakeem Bey. He wrote all of the Moorish Paradigm journals. I'm telling you what I know. Facts. This book right here, The Mysteries of Magic, a digest of writings of Eliseus Levi. You see that? In Doctrine and Rituals, Eliseus Levi. The reason why this name is chosen, Eliseus, they say he is the artist. But, man, come on. We're going to get deeper with it. We remove the veil of the dogma. The Baphomet of the Templars, whose name should be spelled Kabbalistically backwards. Kabbalistically backwards. Is composed of 3 abbreviations. TEMOHPAB. We're going to remove all these people and make them sit on their ass. You think somebody talk about some scary stuff, because anything you can take and twist. I'm telling you what I am, but right here, the elite, we can take all the signs and symbols and show you the real. Everybody know I'm telling the truth. The 3 abbreviations, Temp, Hope, Ab, Temple, Omnium, Homnium, Pass, Abba, the Father of the Temple, universal peace of men. And according to some, it was a monstrous head. Remember I told you all monstrous things is nothing but a pious hieroglyph if you initiate it into the wisdom, if you understand the Met to Netter. I mean, man, when I jump into the Vedas, when I jump into the Bhagavad Vedas, when we jump into the science that's universal, when we jump into the, man, come on, man. And then I can go even deeper and jump into another of my science when we talk about the witch doctor per se. When I deal with Credo Matua, another one of the elders that I deal with, and show you that this science is universal, and show you what this true Islam is about, not no man-made religion. And it's no disrespect. I deal with all the scholars and the prophet. That's what I'm telling Moors, man. It's more than just talking. It's more than that, man. And according to some, it was a goat-shaped so-called demon. Just like when I talk about the hippocampus, a sculpture casket, all that stuff, man. But the hair represents, let's deal with it a little bit, man. The Templars was observed by antique, like back in the days, to be a Baphomet figure, conformable in its attributes to the so-called goat of Mendes, right? Of Contra. It is bearded. Here again, when we was talking in class today, in our adapt class, about figures being bearded, but with the entire body of a woman. In one hand, it holds the sun. In one hand, it holds the sun. In the other, the moon, joined to it by chains. This virile head is a beautiful allegory which attributes to thought alone the first and creative cause. The head here represents mind and the female body, matter. When people talk about this hermaphrodite with that goofy shit, because they want to get you in some dumb shit. Excuse my candor, man. I must speak. The head here represents mind and the female body, matter. The stars, bound to the human form and directed by the nature of which intelligence is the head, have also a sublime significance. The terrible Baphomet Moors is in fact, like all monstrous enigmas of ancient science, nothing more than an innocent and even pious hieroglyph. And I declare emphatically to combat the remnants of all that slander that Satan, so-called, as a superior personality and power, has no existence. The devil, so-called, in black magic is the great magic agent employed for evil purposes by a, how can I say it, a force will or a perverse will, something that's inside. So when we talk about the goat of Mendes Moors or the Baphomet, who the so-called Templars were accused of worshiping, is a goat-headed deity being formed of both male and female principles with a caddis of Mercury in opolis of its phallus. One arm points up, one down, with the Latin phrase solvit colga written on them, meaning flow and ebb. Flow and ebb. This is not the image of a Christian devil. This is not an image of a Christian devil, but a symbol of an ancient alchemist representing nature and nature's God, being a combination and balance of a male and female forces, light and darkness, moistures and dryness. I hope y'all clear with me. The very principle of Hermes Trigemus is as above, so below, is what symbolizes by the Baphomet. Look clearly, Moors. We're removing the veil of religious dogma. And if you think this symbol is evil, or have been misled, you are what is called a non-initiate, who is considered profane to the secret mysteries and the secret knowledge. And I don't like to call it none secret. I call it sacred because it's available for you if you want to learn. All you must do is be a student. The sacred knowledge that is contained in such stories, words, and images. Just like I say all the time, this is the whole purpose of the Kabbalists and prescribes who use so-called secret words or allegories in order to conceal the truth from the uninitiated. Just like when a lot of Negroes that's Masons, they quote Manly P. Hall. That ain't nothing. He wrote The Goat of Mendes in 1936. That's lower level wisdom. No disrespect to no one. If Manly P. Hall was in the flesh, he'd have to sit on his hands. It's no disrespect. That's only 32 and 33 degree wisdom. And if they was here in the flesh, Adam Blavatsky, they'll tell you that they got the science from the prophet. They'll tell you. Because the prophet brought it to the so-called North American Negro. And everybody knows this. The practice of magic, M-A-G-I-C-K, either white or black, depends upon the ability of the adapt to control the universal life force. That's what, when the European Alesius Levi calls the great magical agent or the astral light, by the manipulation of this fluid or the fluidic essence, the phenomena of transcendentalism are thus produced. The famous hermaphroditic or the hermaphroditic, that male, that female, the androgynous, the goat of Mendes was a composite creature formulated to symbolize this very astral light family. It is identical with the Baphomet, the mystic pantheos, the god of all natures, of those disciples of ceremonial magic who probably obtained it from the misnomer Arabs. And see, when they say Arabs, we could connect that Arab teaching again, because you can get the 18, what is it? Vladimir Dale's 1828. It might be, I forget, I have to get it for you. But if my nobles on here, they can put it on there. The description of an Arab, not with a B, with a P. And it'll clearly show you who that true Arab is. And then I can show you a book by Bertram Thomas, the Arab. And then I can get into other books to show you exactly what all writers in that time period tell you what an Arab is. And you would be confused. And not an ARAB, an ARAP. These is facts. You can't be mad at me. The Baphomet is also a symbol of initiation into the secret mysteries. I like to call it the sacred mysteries. An idol or hieroglyph that represents the god Ammon. And if I'll have my camera shown, I'll be showing y'all the brain. But I got too much going on when I show y'all the hippocampus. I did this lecture so many times. When I did this lecture on the college campus, I'm telling you, a lot of kids, they love anatomy when I teach it. If your kid failing in school, when I teach this, they'll be amazed. I'll break the whole skeleton down and show them and connect God and man. Show them all that stuff, what I'm talking about. It represents the god Amen, the Jupiter, the Amen, or the Amen Ra, who is the hidden one, the king of the gods and the lord of the thrones, of the visible and the invisible worlds. In addition, Moors, when I said it earlier, the meaning of Baphomet is what? Father of the temple, universal peace of men. The father would be the Amun, which is known in science as the what? The hippocampus, or the what? The Amun's horn. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Pull up the skull, pull up the brain. The temple will be your body along with your head. As it was said in Egypt, the body is the house of God and one of many. Proverbs is, man, know thyself, and thou shalt know thy gods. And when you know thyself and live in harmony with nature, you are now one with God. Hence you come to the point of universal peace of men. Come on, man. I can show y'all all in those areas when in Greek mythology, when you see the goat horns and all that stuff, the Amon's horn, the Amen, the king of gods, the lord of thrones. And I explain exactly what God Amen represents, since the Baphomet is Ammon and the science, it synchronizes all together, right? I show you how each of us humans has the Baphomet, or a so-called sacred god Ammon, that sits in the middle of the brain. That is part of the temporal lobe called the what? Amon's horn, or the what? The Amos horn, A-M-U-N-S horn, also known as the what? Hippocampus, right? In neuroanatomy, Amon's horn is a metaphor that relates to the gods and the brain, right? Somebody correct me if I'm lying. The image we see today of the Baphomet is identified by the image of the ram, which is actually one of the most important gods in the history of the Egyptian empire. the so-called Egyptian Greek deity known as Amun, Amen-Ra, or Jupiter Amun, is sometimes represented as a ram of a blue color, and sometimes as a man with the horns of a ram, or wearing a cape with two high plumes, right? And the religion of Amen-Ra is the oldest noted in Egyptian antiquity, with the Amen-Ra priesthood being the most powerful clergy that Egypt has ever known. The god Amun was worshipped under the ram's horn. Don't the ram's horn sound familiar? In the East, for many thousands of years, the god Amun was tended by the priests of the great Theban temple of Karnak, and also worshipped in Mendes called Bandijit, the Ba of the Lord Dij, or the Lord of Mendes, who was the soul of Osiris. Thebes was found in 1500 BC by a Phoenician prince named Cadmus. The meaning of Thebes is from the word Theba, that signifies art. The capital for the region, the capital for their religion was located in the city of light, or what we know as of Luxor. Familiar? The god they worship was god Amen-Ra, Jupiter Amen. The temple at Luxor, there are many ram sphinxes that symbolize god Amun. The kingdom of Upper and Lower Egypt, the living spirit of Ba, the living spirit of Shu, the living spirit of Sib, the living spirit of Osiris, the spirit of spirits, the Lord of lords, the hero of the city of Tonin, Mendes. And another part of the same text is said of him appearing on the horizon with four heads, illuminating heaven and earth, coming as Nile, causing the earth to live, and giving the air to mankind. The priesthood of Amen-Ra from Egypt were the main inheritors of the secret mystery religions that initiated various famous people. You know they had to come to Egypt. When they talk about Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato, they came. Come on, where? To be initiated. We know this. They try to, in the Bible, they try to explain Alexander the Greek as a ram on the rampage in Daniel 8, 3, and 4. Research it. Then I lifted my gaze and looked, and behold, a ram which had two horns was standing in front of the canal. Now the two horns were long, but one was longer than the other, with the longer one coming up past. I saw the ram budding westward, northward, southward, and no other beast could stand before him, nor was there anyone to rescue from his power. But he did as he pleased and magnified himself. The ram's horn since most ancient times was always a sign of authority, power, dignity. The incarnation of Amun, a curled ram's horn, that is known today as a shofar, you know what we blow early in the morning, was the only natural voice instrument that the priests were permitted to use, as recorded in the scriptures. The Israelites and the Levite priests had also used the ram's horn, or the shofar, or the sulfur. The modern Jews today confess their sins in the month of September by blowing a ram's horn to announce the ceremony, which they say drives away the devil, right? Come on, man. So when you look out of that Greek mythology, and when you don't understand signs and symbols, and when we talk about the god Amen, who was later called Amen-Ra or Jupiter, Amen, today is known as the Baphomet. It's also an ancient Rome religion and myth. Jupiter or Jove is the king of the gods and the god of the sky and thunder. Romans regarded Jupiter as the equivalent of Greek Zeus, and in Latin literature and Roman art, the myths and iconography of Zeus are adapted under the name Lupiter, Luppiter. The Latin name Lupiter originated as a vocative compound of the Old Latin of vocative, lu and putter, father, the lu and pater, pater, father, and came to replace the Old Latin nominative case, the lous. Jove is a less common English formative based on lov, the stem of oblique cases of the Latin name. So when we deal with linguistics, so linguistic studies identified the form, the loupater, as deriving from the Indo-European vocative compound, de''eu, fodder, meaning, oh, Father Sky God. Come on, man. I ain't even got into the Greek, into the Catholic stuff yet. Man, and we can correct so many teachings and show you so much stuff in history like, damn, is that true? Yeah. Even the Greek historian Herodotus credits Hesiod and Homer as not only being the first poets of Greece. So you see how they be trying to give you a little bit, but then they don't tell you it's talking about something inside. Just like the name Isis means throne or she of the throne. Her headdress is frequently shown with a vulture resting on top of her head, aka the throne, with horns holding what appears to be Jupiter Ammon. In Egypt, she was frequently called Man, and her totem there was a vulture. So if Jupiter Ammon is the king of kings and lord of lords, then what did make Isis? Could she be Ammon's vulture, like Satan's adversary? Stay in the context. The enemy of man and the light of which she devours by concealing the truth that the god Ammon resides upon our throne under her veil. Isis declares, I am Isis, the great goddess, the mistress of magic, the speaker of spells. So I'm just giving you science, a myth reported as Egyptian in Gaius Julius Hygnius, the poetic astronomy, that Pan, in his goat god aspect, was attacked by the monster Typhon. He dove into the Nile. The parts above the water remained a goat, but those under the water transformed into a fish. I'm giving you the Greek mythology. I'm breaking things down. In the book, Psychology of the Unconscious, a study of the transformation and symbolism by Carol Gustav June and Patrice M. Hinkle, they spoke about the truth that yes, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords does have an adversary, and it appears to be Isis, who is also Typhon. But we're talking about the higher and the lower self. Isis, the mother of God, played an evil trick on the sun god with the poisonous snake per se. Also, Isis behaved treacherously toward her son Horus, right? In Plutarch's tradition, that is, Horus vanquished the evil Typhon, who murdered Osiris treacherously. The terrible mother equals Typhon. Isis, however, set him free again. Horus thereupon rebelled, laid hands on his mother, and tore the regal ornaments from her head, whereupon Hermes gave her a cow's head. Then Horus conquered Typhon a second time. Typhon in the Greek legend is a monstrous dragon. But all I'm talking about, if I showed y'all the head and the symbology of the head and what's in the brain, the cord, the pelvis, all this stuff, you will understand I'm talking about the brain. I'm talking about that Ammon's horn has special significance to our ancestors. The immortal fact can be found in the form of the ancient art that they left behind. You know? You can see all this stuff. The French déjà vu in English means already seen. And Plato didn't come up with that. You know, they study in a particular area. So I wanted to be clear with that, man. So I don't want us to be caught up in no spookism. I don't want us to be caught in nobody trying to come with their own perspective that haven't studied nothing or definitely haven't picked up the wisdom to synchronize the teachings, because the science is old. And Noble Drew Ali didn't say he wrote nothing. He said he gathered, compiled, and divinely prepared. So if we understand that, that's plain and simple. That means that wisdom is old. So if you was going to academia and they say, well, you must quote your references, you could not use the Morse Quran because it's a compilation. I would want you to deal with the main source. I didn't say I diss Noble Drew Ali. I'm a Moor. I understand the gathered and compiled. But if it's gathered and compiled, as a scholar, if you was in academia, I say deal with the main resource and what a peer-reviewed scholarly research, where the science come from. You should be able to do that if it's gathered and compiled. That's all I'm saying. Because the wisdom is older than me and you and our prophet. If it's gathered and compiled, that's what I'm saying. The Morse Quran is a compilation. When I talk about main research, when I talk about contemporaries, when I talk about research that's 400 and 500 pages, When I talk about books that's 400 and 500 pages where you do the history, the law, the etymology, it ain't just a little bit of that. That should be too simple when a person make it clear, say, I gather, compile, and divinely prepare. That means it's older than them. That means it can be researched. That means that I'm not the originator of what? None of the thought. Can be. If we clearly say, if I gather, compile, and divinely prepare, what are we arguing about? Or what statement are we making? There's no statement. If the author say that it was, if I wrote something, I say I gather, compile, and divinely prepare, and then somebody say to me, well, she wrote chapter this. How? I just told you I gathered and compiled and divinely prepared. You can trace some of the same stuff from other literature. How? Come on, man. I showed you a lot of stuff come from the Akashic records. That's older than a lot of stuff, especially when I deal with a lot of the talisman science. A lot of stuff is old. And so I don't want people to get all caught up in their feelings if they're not a study and a philosopher. We all valid. We all coming from a place. Islam Moors, any questions? I'm just trying to make it plain, man, and remove the veil of religious dogma, because more science ain't no set tripping. Our prophet wouldn't be here for that, to talk about praise him. No prophet said praise him. We talk about deal with the teachings. The science is older than me and you, especially if I can show you the main references and I can cross-reference the science. And I haven't even jumped in the Brahmin text. I haven't even jumped in the Vedas, which our Moorish Quran clearly speaks of. Our Quran tell us, and our teachers tell us not to gravitate to one science where we miss the essence of the rest. So that means you must study all the crafts. You must be an adept. It clearly says that. So no way, as a Moor, and if we say we studying and we valid or something, or we call ourselves a sheik, we're not going to gravitate to true teachings and join something. That's why there's no true temples around. In my city of Flint, Michigan, where I'm from, it's a Moorish Science Temple of America. That should be a pillar in a community, but it don't even be open. We gonna change it. So any questions, man? And thanks for the donations, man. I'm trying to get Moors to come privately on Zoom. Please hit us up. Learn systematically, get the literature. But I tell us, man, we should be slow to speak, because I'm not here to debate nothing. I don't know why we do that to each other. I'm not no one's enemy. I look like you. When you look in the mirror, you should see myself. You should see yourself. How can a man say they love God they never seen? And I'm here to teach. And when I tell people, man, a lot of people don't know who I am, is because a lot of my teachings been academia, and I don't have the desire to be debating with no one. I proved my point in academia. I proved that I was a Moor. I proved who I were in spirituality and everything, and in law and in history. And that's who I am in real life. I'm in a red state, Phoenix, Arizona. I operate like this every single day. This is not just internet. I mean, I tutor kids, I train, I do all this in real life. I'm a businessman. I teach college kids, I lecture on real platforms. So it's no debate here. And I give research, and we created platforms where we can get research for a smaller price that you would pay on other platforms that make the science expensive. So if there are any other questions, man, I give gratitude for everybody being here, man. But that's where I'm with, man. I'm not here to debate no one. I have no passion of that. I'm here to challenge you to study. I'm here to challenge you to research what you say you love. Open your books, research the words, research something else than one thing. Because when we read one thing, that's just like a preacher or a religious person saying, all I read is the Bible. That's just like a religious person reads something and say, all I read is the Bible. And I don't read just the Bible. Man, I read all the Qurans with the K and the Q. I read the Bukhari Hadith. That's why I don't get caught up in that. And I have family that's Nation of Islam in Florida, that's under Farrakhan. But and I know imams. But when it comes to studying, when it's come to reading the research, no one can deny the scholarship. No one can deny what I'm saying, especially when I talk about tradition and what's written. I have no problem with how nobody do nothing, but you can't get me and talk about this and that because you got so many different fashions of so-called Islam. And I don't do nothing orthodox. I'm a Moor. I don't get on my knees. I do my al salat the way that the teaching said, standing up. So it's no disrespect to no one else. I give honors to everyone, and whatever that make you righteous, I give love. But you are more by birth. I don't care what you study. I'm not here to debate that, but I'm here to let you know who I am and what I love and what we have the right to do, legal, lawfully, and religiously, as a tribe and a body. And I'm here to build something. And the workman is due is higher. So I give gratitude for everyone tuning in tonight. Thank you for the donations. Anybody that gave a $10 donation or a $20 donation, please make sure you email me so I can get you your literature. My email is Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. And I'll get you your literature if you donate it. But if not, please check out our Temple and School page at bbtsciencetemple.com. That's bbtsciencetemple.com. And on Instagram, our Temple and School page is burningbushtabernacle.ts. If you're looking for, like I said, literature, we have our own book page. It's called mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z. Is it upside down? Oh, yeah, it's upside down. mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where you can download PDF books to your tablet, and you can go to Office Max and Staples, and they download them and bind them for you in book form. You can go right on there and get Zooming of the Nation right now. I tell everybody to get it. On Amazon, it's $2.50. It'll correct a lot of crap people be saying. MorrisHaberdasher.com, where you can get all your Morris America regalia, and much, much more. At MorrisHaberdasher.com, Morris. And of course, our Temple and School webpage is bbtsciencetemple.com. So I give gratitude for everybody. Tomorrow is Sunday school at 2 p.m. I give gratitude. Any questions? I'll leave it a couple minutes for any questions. Please don't ask nothing crazy, because I'm not going to answer nothing crazy. I'll block you. I'm just letting you know that off the top. Anybody say something crazy, I'm blocking you. Like somebody jumped on here talking about anybody on here can nationalize you. I said, you got to be crazy. Don't jump on my page with that goofy stuff. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. Any questions? Guess not. I got one more minute. I'm finna relax. But yeah, Morris, don't be bashful, man, to give a donation to what you like, Morris. Don't be bashful at all. We all good? All right. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my guide, my protector, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Nabi Ali, Shalom Alaikum, Ayah Ayah, peace, 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 Assalamu alaikum. Anything else, Morris? I'm trying to leave it open for anybody can ask a serious question, because I will answer any serious question. Gratitude, Phoenix, Anka. Gratitude. Gratitude. Gratitude for the kind words. Absolutely we are. Gratitude, Solomon. Gratitude for the kind words. All I do is come in peace, man. I got out the country and found myself saying the same thing. I'm not going to argue. It's like, real talk. Me neither. I ain't here for that. I'll let that be. And the truth is plain, just like the law. A lot of people try to arbitrarily explain the law, and they only can do that to people that's not willing to do the work. But if you're willing to do the work, can no one arbitrarily explain the law to you? Can no one fraudulently explain nothing to you? Because there's no excuse in a court of law not knowing the law. We're going to do all the research. We understand its restrictions in law. We understand this. And in order to be a law administrator, you must obey the law. These are things, and we defend the Constitution. A true sheik is going to show you this stuff. He's going to show you the keys. The keys is how what not to do and how to liberate yourself, which the laws say we have the right to do. That's all I'm telling Moors. Anything else, to me, is uncivilized. Because we can deal with law, we can jump in law dealing pertaining to a so-called color code. We can deal with black, and we can deal with black laws, the first volume, and show you that black wasn't even used as ethnicity in the first century. Just like when I debunk the so-called Willie Lynch, I can show you that black was never used in the first century to describe ethnicity. It was used to describe in theater. I can prove this millions of times. And according to science of law, black means deaf, no disrespect. So put deaf on everything that you call black. No disrespect to no one. This is basic stuff. Because the Dred Scott law was never abolished. And so I'm not saying understanding who you are would just make you above the law. That's not what I'm saying. But it'll show how you operate in a certain nobility. You know? Absolutely. It'll have you operate in a nobility. It'll have you like the thing what I do with a lot of students and how I do like the college roundtable when I go on the college campus on Wednesdays. We sit down and we go over research. So when a lot of students graduate and they can't base their understanding on their so-called religion, a lot of people be crying, a lot of people drop out because you can't base your research on your personal religion. They don't care, like say if you're a Christian and you go to T.D. Jakes' church. You can't use no T.D. Jakes writing. They don't care about that. They don't care about that. So it must be done in a particular fashion when it's universal. And law is universal. Everything what I speak about is universal. And more science is a paradigm. And then we don't get caught up in somebody thing like being a paper terrorist or driving without license and all that traffic law. Like, is that more science? And you see no paradigm. You see no literature. You see no family. You see no children learning things. You see no one. You see the Moors not getting land. That's what we're doing with a small number. And that's what I'm asking Moors to trust something. Be a part of something. I mean, you see what it is. You shouldn't want to hear a sermon. You see a sermon. I welcome people in my life. But it's a mission that we're trying to do. So I give gratitude. And with that, man, I'll see y'all tomorrow for Sunday school. Any other questions? Peace. Peace. Yeah. I just want to make sure I touch everybody and everybody got their word in. I don't want to leave nobody hanging. But if I got everybody and everybody had what they wanted to say, once again, peace, love, and light to everyone. Islam.